How's everybody doing? It's another Sunday already. These weeks just fly by nowadays. All right, so we got a couple people out there, I think. Chicken Piccata, super easy. Whatsa Matta Piccata. It's really, really easy and probably super fast compared to everything we've done. This is really only cooking two things: chicken, pasta. Make the sauce in the pan and eat. That's it. Super good. Wonderful, magnificent. Really, really, really good. All right, so pot on the stove, pan on the stove. Get the pot of water starting to work up. That way it's getting hot while we're getting everything prepped up. The pan I have on like a medium low, but we'll kick that up a little bit when we're going to sear the chicken off. But I have it warming up just a little bit. I do have 2 to 3 tablespoons of canola oil in the pan. It just kind of depends on the size of your pan, what you're using. I have one pretty big pan, so I can cook the 4 pieces of chicken that I'm going to get out of these 2 breasts. If you're using a smaller pan, like a 12-inch, you might have to go on a rotation. So get a side plate next to your dish. No matter what, get a side plate out, because once you cook the chicken, we're going to pull the chicken out, put it on that plate to rest, make the sauce, and then we'll put the chicken back in. So have a side plate next to your pan as well. That way, when it comes off, it'll be nice and easy for you. Sharp knife just to clean up your chicken if you haven't cleaned it already, but I'm going to do that here in a minute. Pasta is the angel hair. You can use any kind of pasta you like. This sauce is really, really light, so I think angel hair goes good with it. Not everybody likes angel hair because it's super thin and it cooks really fast, so you have to monitor that. Don't want to overcook it, turn it into mush. It's about 2 minutes or less. How we doing, Miss Sarah? Sarah's birthday today, 29. 6th anniversary.
I think we got Simon cooking tonight, Becky cooking tonight.
Simon, you remembered to show up.
Janice cooking tonight.
All right, hello Janice. Becky, how's it going? Kim, Rachel, are they here? Mm-hmm. Kim and Rachel are here, all right. All right, so just clean the chicken up. As we clean this, we're gonna go right into our flour. I have flour over here. See, you can season your flour a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. That is totally fine. I'd say about, a 1/4 teaspoon of each. Just mix that in, and that way you'll get a little bit more flavor in there as well. All the gunky parts of the chicken with the fat and stuff is what we're gonna trim off here. It's relatively easy, especially if you have a sharp knife. One motion to take it off. Anything you don't need or don't want. Every day, 5 o'clock, she starts. What you talking about, Willis? All right, so for the chicken, there's a couple ways you can do this, but since it's just Sarah and I'm only going to do it the one way, and that is just going straight through the chicken. So you get 2 fillets out of the one breast. You can make it medallions and cut it thin, kind of on a diagonal across this way, so you'd get more out of each piece, and that way you can spread the 2 breasts out amongst people if you want to do that for a smaller portion, or if this is a part of a course meal or something along those lines rather than just being the whole main. But for the most part, we're just going to go right into the chicken breast and just try to stay as far or as close to the center of it as you can, and then split it right down the center so you have 2 pieces like so. Keep one hand clean of the chicken, one hand on the chicken, so that way you can work with it and not spread chicken juices all over your kitchen. Season it on both sides, salt and pepper. All right, flip it over. Same thing, salt and pepper. All right, just throw those into the flour. Grab your other piece of chicken, and we're just going to do the same exact thing again. Clean the fat off. And then open it up again. Salt, pepper, flip both sides. Salt and pepper. All right, so for the flour part here, again, real easy. Just kind of press the chicken down into the flour so it coats it. Flip it and grab a little flour on this hand, since this hand's kind of wet. So we call that wet hand, dry hand, so that way you don't end up with gummed up fingers. Just try to make sure you coat it nice and evenly. Set that there. Get that flour out of the way. Set that over there. Same thing again. Push this down, flip it over, push it down. And just stack it right on top of it. Loosen up your flour. Do the same thing with the other two pieces.
Can you leave the fat on, or do you need to trim it off?
You can leave it on. I mean, if you want to eat that. I mean, if you just want to have it nice and lean, trim it off. But yeah, you can definitely leave it on. It's not going to really bother you. You can throw it in the pan even after you trim it to help make your sauce. Fat is your friend for flavor, but that's really about it, right? I can't leave it on because if Sarah's very much a texture eater, so if she gets a weird texture in her mouth of gristle or something like that, it kind of freaks her out and ruins her dinner. So I try to trim off whatever I can so she doesn't end up with it. But me, I'll eat the ends off of a chicken bone and cartilage and all that stuff, and that still weirds her out a lot. All right, so I got the chicken all coated up. I'm just gonna set that aside for a second, go wash my hands, show you how to cut the lemon. While you're washing your hands up, you can go ahead and turn your stove for the pan up a little bit. And if you want to, you can get the water boiling a little bit more too. So this is going to move. Don't forget your trusty strainer. Get those ready too.
Shouldn't they have the skillet going yet?
That's what I just did. I turned that up to medium-high. So yeah, skillet, medium-high, canola oil in there. And once we get over there, we'll add 2 tablespoons of butter to that. And that's gonna, the canola oil is gonna help the butter not burn in the pan. So just have your butter ready. You can put the canola in, let that come up to temperature, and then come on back and we'll cut this lemon up real quick. Get yourself a little side bowl for your lemon. I forgot to get that out myself. So we're gonna cut the lemon in half, juice half of it. Power hour. Finish that. Get to work. It's her birthday. Tell her to hurry up. All right, how we doing, folks? Everybody back? All right, I guess so. I just take guesses. I don't really know when you're back or not.
60 seconds delayed, so you can't really.
I know. I never know. The feed's delayed. I'm talking to air. I'm expecting answers. I'm waiting for Sarah to tell me stuff. I look at her. She's like, I don't know. None of us know what's going on. Nobody knows what's going on around here. All right, so it's half a lemon. Man, I really can't wait for my knife next week. We're gonna juice it. If you have a juicer, just go ahead and use that so that way you don't hurt yourself. I just use a knife and squeeze it over top of the bowl and work that around and get all the goodness out of it. Just half, just do half. Let me hit my steel up real quick because I don't want to kill myself here trying to slice this lemon thin. Coffee machine's going. There's just constant mayhem over here. There's always some kind of a sound.
Who did you order your knife from?
Black Hog Knives. It's a local guy here in DeLand. He hand forges everything. Man, I'm having a tough time though. This knife is just not good for me. That's why I ordered it. The one way you will cut yourself in the kitchen is on a dull knife.
I'm sorry, what was that company called again?
They're called Black Hog, like Black Hog Knives. Yeah, so he hand forges everything, does everything from hunting knives to all kinds of culinary knives as well. He is going to be doing, some like foldable knives and stuff like that as he starts to grow, kind of a younger business too. So, yeah, I definitely recommend checking him out. I'm pretty sure he can ship anywhere, so if you guys are interested in some, stuff made in the USA, check him out. If you want to stay local to your area, I'm sure you can find stuff that is very, very localized to you. But the guy is super awesome, really cares about listening to you and what you're looking for, so I definitely recommend to check him out. Of course, I'm speaking from somebody that doesn't have his knife yet, but I do have other chef friends that have knives from him, and they're very, very happy. And they've ordered multiple. So out of your slices, just pop your seeds out. Set them aside because we don't need them. Nobody wants seeds in their food. And if you have any seeds in your bowl, you can go ahead and pull those out as well. All right. Now in this cup, well, my measuring cup here, I'm using half wine and also half chicken stock. You can use all wine, you could use all chicken stock if you don't want to cook with wine. I'd have a half a cup of each is what I recommended for the recipe. If you want more sauce, just add more of each. I did, earlier in the week when I cooked this, I actually wanted to make it a little saucier today, so I took it up to a cup of chicken stock and then 3/4 cup of white wine. So this time today, Sarah had said, she's like, man, I could use a little more of that sauce. So I'm gonna make it a little saucier for her today. So that's what I did. I added a little more.
Kim asks, is this the other half or the squeezed half?
The other half or the squeezed half? I don't even know what that means. The To what? I'm so confused. The other half or the squeezed half? Do you understand how confusing that question is to me? I don't know what that means. Chill. Alright, we're going to head over to the stove, grab your chicken, you got your capers, your lemon juice, bring it all over. Grabbing my salt and pepper, my wine stock mixture as well. Whoop. Got trouble. Shut the door. Alright, so my oil's getting nice and hot here. Grab yourself something if you're using a non-stick pan. You're not going to get as much of a flavor from it just because you're going to kind of get some crispy stuff onto like a stainless steel pan that's going to give you more flavor for your sauce. If you're using non-stick, it'll still happen, but it's just not going to be as much flavor to it. Alright, so we'll add our butter, about 2 tablespoons, into the canola oil. That's going to start melting down. Just kind of move it around a little bit. Get it all throughout there. Mo butter, mo better. Alright, and then the chicken is going to go right in. Don't overcrowd the pan, give it enough room. If you don't have enough room for all of them, it's fine. Just have your side plate there so that way you can take them out, put the next batch in, and do it in little batches, it's fine. Wash your hands again, get the chicken guts off. Now we're going to let that go for probably around 3 minutes or so each side, just because the chicken is cut in half, so it will cook a little bit faster. But we're going to take it out, let it rest, and then we're going to add it back into the sauce. The flour, even though it's going to caramelize and cook on the outside, it is also going to add a little bit of thickening to our sauce to give it, what we're looking for some substance. If you like your sauce to be a little thicker and it's not doing what you want it to do in the pan, use a tablespoon, something to scoop it out into a side bowl. Add a little cornstarch to it, make a slurry, and then you pour that in and you can whisk that in and that'll thicken your sauce for you, so it'll give you a little more of like a coating to the dish. All right. So just so everybody's ready to go, you have your juiced half of your lemon. You have your capers ready. We're going to have our sliced lemon ready as well. You have some butter, salt, pepper, and your wine or stock or the mixture of both all kind of ready to go. You have tongs, grab those so it's easier to work with your chicken. Flip it over relatively quick. Your water is boiling. Got my pasta ready here. I forgot my beer. And we got the power hour going tonight. Come here, Sarah. Come on in. Sarah's birthday, everybody. Wish Sarah happy birthday.
Thank you.
All right, so after the chicken comes out, well, we're going to still flip it, but after that, we're going to flip it, let it go for another 3 minutes. After it comes out, we are going to hit it with the wine stock mixture to deglaze the pan really quick from any of the little stuck-on bits is what we're actually looking for, because you want that for the flavor. Then we'll add the lemon juice in to brighten it up with the capers. We will add our chicken breast back in once that reduces just a little bit. And then we'll top that off with the sliced lemon, and that'll give the chicken a little more of that lemon flavor over the top. Very, very easy. This is a literal 30-minute dish that you guys can knock out. You never know what's going on behind the scenes. All right. You can kind of see when the sides kind of start to brown on your chicken. You can just give it a little pull and just see how it's starting to look. Let it go just a little more. One telltale too is on the top part of the chicken. You'll kind of start to see moisture starting to build. So it's forcing, you know, some evaporation out, so you'll see it start glazing the top, and that's another way you know it's time to flip it. And the
Tim wants to know if she's the only mother cooking.
yeah, where's Jerry? Come on, Jerry, you can make this. I think Taze was cooking for Rachel. I don't know, it's a little splattery for a kid to do, but Taze is growing up. Might be able to hang in there. All right, give your chicken a flip if it's looking like mine here. There, you can give it a little glance, I guess. You can see there's some juices forming on the top here. You have some brown that's forming on the outside. If you flip it over and it looks really blonde and light, then I would say just leave it, start to put it back down. But if it's got some, you know, some darkness and, you know, caramelization working, you just don't want that to burn. Like I said too, we're gonna cook it on both sides. We're gonna make the sauce and we're gonna put the chicken back into the pan. So it's gonna finish off and it won't, you know, be undercooked. And then if you have any regard or you're really concerned, just take a temperature. Use a, you know, probe thermometer, get yourself one of those, and just double check it and make sure it's good to go. The one thing you don't want to really do with this is, you know, go too hot on the pan where it burns anything, because you're making the sauce in this pan. If you burn stuff, then your sauce is going to happen. Dog on TV, it's a dog on TV, and Zoa sees it eating and she's jealous. That's what's happening in the background there. We had like this planet show on the other day, and there's all kinds of animals. Zoa watched that thing, she didn't move. She was just staring at the TV, and anytime anything was going on, she's barking at the TV. She would jump off and run up and start barking at it. Crazy dog. She was just like, finally you put something on I want to watch. You're always ready. You're always ready. I think the dogs need grooming as bad as I need a grooming. I can hardly fit hats on now. Just like, doesn't work. Rachel, where does Tony buy his hats? I think those might fit. You salt your pasta water, guys, so that way you get some seasoning into the pasta while it cooks. One thing I was always told when you cook pasta, it should taste like the ocean. The water tastes like the ocean. All right. Just a little longer. The side that is up now, I always kind of start with, like, you know, skin side down, but since you slice these in half, you don't really have a skin side down. The first side that hits the pan is always going to be the side that's going to be your presentation. You're going to get the most instant heat off of the pan. It's going to cause a really nice caramelization, the crust to form. The bottom side isn't always going to get the same exact kind of look to it. So just try to plan on this top, once you flip it, is going to be your presentation on your plate. Alright, my chicken is ready to come out. So I'm going to pull it off, let it kind of drip off here, and go onto my side plate. You just kind of see the bottom has a nice little crust to it, top has a nice crust to it. As you let it sit over here, the temp will rise as well once you're done cooking, so you can just kind of let it rest. We'll get our sauce going. One thing you can do right now is, like I said before, if you want to make the sauce a little thicker, you can add a little bit of flour at this point, and that will give you a little bit of a roux. You don't want to add too much. I'd say maybe like a tablespoon at most, and that will help it thicken up. But just kind of move these brown bits off before you would do that. We're not really kind of doing that today, but that's just another rendition of this that you can do. Kind of move these brown bits off. Once you hit it with the wine, it will help you remove that. It just kind of pulls them off themselves. But as you add this wine, guys, stand back a little because you have cold liquid hitting hot oil, and that's not always the most, fun. So just go easy. Alright, so that is the wine into the pan. Move that across the bottom, get all those little brown bits off we were talking about. You can add your lemon juice in. We're going to bring this back up to a boil.
Use the same flour they use to coat the chicken?
I would recommend not to do that. You can, but anything that touches, you're going to get up to heat in here, but I would really try to just use some fresh flour, just because anything that touches raw chicken and then sits around, I try not to use that at all. I'm looking at you, and I should be looking over here. Sorry. But yeah, that's kind of how, it's just anything that's left over from breading raw chicken, I just usually get rid of. Anything you marinate chicken in, you don't want to use that marinade in your cooking. You want to get rid of that and, move on from it. Go fold the laundry. Laundry's done. Sarah's birthday, doing laundry. All right, so we have this. We're just getting that up to a boil, and that's gonna, just kind of start helping to reduce down. It's kind of similar to what we did last week with the maple glaze on the salmon. When you add the butter in, that will also become a thickener. It's just kind of like a beurre blanc in a way. So you add that in, and it'll help kind of thicken this up the next step. But if you wanted to have a really kind of thicker coating, then you can use flour, cornstarch, slurry, something along those lines. The pasta, like I said, if you're using angel hair, you have to watch it because it's going to be 2 minutes. 4 minutes if you like really well done pasta, but literally it's going to go extremely fast. All right, so we'll go ahead and get ready to do that.
If they're adding flour, should they add it now or after it starts to boil?
You want it to add the flour before you put the stock in, guys. if you add flour to liquid, it's going to turn into a dough. You need flour always needs to get added to the oil or to the butter. Once you add the liquid, you're past the flour point. You can't add it anymore. If you want it to thicken up by adding something, you can use cornstarch at this point. But what you need to do is take a tablespoon of the liquid out, put it in a bowl, like if you have your lemon bowl still. You could take some of that liquid and put it in there. Then add the cornstarch, stir that together, and it's going to call what we call a slurry. It's going to look a little pasty. Whisk the liquid, slowly pour that slurry into this pan, and that'll cause it to thicken as well. But you never want to add raw flour to liquid, because then you're just going to make like a chicken and wine cooked dough. You don't really want to do that. You really start to smell the lemon, the chicken stock, like all those cool flavors coming out of there. Nice aromas. You know that sauce is going to be really good. All right, my pasta, as said, is ready for me. So it's coming off. I always turn the water on to get cold water running down the drain so I don't shock the pipes. It's just an old habit from living in Philly. Never want to send hot water down a cold pipe and risk cracking it, so. I don't put it on the pasta, I just put it, on the side of the sink. All right, so now we will add some butter back. The recipe that I gave you guys is 2 tablespoons of butter in the oil, but then this one is you're adding 1 tablespoon back. If you use a little bit more liquid, then you're going to want to add, of course, some more butter to it. And let's give that a little stir. We're going to add our chicken back in. Like so. I need to step to my right, Sarah, sorry. This juice I'm putting back in there because it's just the drippings from the chicken, so that's flavor we want. We will sprinkle our capers over the top now. It's about 2 tablespoons of capers. You can use more if you like more. If you don't like them, you still need to use them because the dish asks for it. And now this will just kind of reduce down a little bit with the chicken to give it, a little more flavor, but also just finish cooking off the chicken. All right. We can go ahead and get our pasta plated. If your pasta starts to stick, you can run it under water, some cool water, but you'll want to dip it in the pan with the sauce to bring it back up to temperature. Angel hair comes together pretty fast.
Kim says she doesn't understand the butter.
Kim, you have to give me more information. I don't.
I think it's about the second time you put it in the dish.
All right, so it's the 2 tablespoons of butter in with the canola oil in the beginning to cook it, and then after the wine and the stock are added, you're using more butter to kind of help thicken the dish itself. It's just like we did last week with making that the maple glaze. When you have the onions and all that stuff cooking down and the stock starts to cook down, you add butter and then you whisk it really good. It's just kind of a thickening agent. It just causes a little bit of a coating. Like the piccata dish is not really a heavy, thick sauce. I just know that a lot of people want something thicker, and that's why I recommended doing like flour to make a slight roux, or you know, adding the cornstarch in to make it thicken up a little bit. But yeah, it's not really. I don't know what you mean by you don't understand the butter.
It's done.
You good? You got it? All right. All right. So we're just like kind of reducing that down. We can turn it down to low. You don't really need it to, well, like a medium low. Don't need it boiling away over there and overcooking everything. But really, this is pretty much done. You know, we're just just letting it kind of settle in there, giving the chicken a little more flavor from that sauce. We'll put a couple pieces of chicken over here, sauce everything, and we're out. Home free. The one thing I'll suggest to do for you is, before you put the chicken on top of the pasta, is just take a little bit of the sauce and put it over top of the noodles. Then put the chicken on it, and then put a little bit more of the sauce over top, so that way the flavor gets all over the noodles as well. You don't want it to get blocked by the chicken. All right. Get that over there with my tongs. Make sure you get some of the capers. And we're there. That is it.